Blessed be the holy and undivided Trinity, now and forevermore. Peace be with you, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 4 of Tenconi Talks, live and direct from Tenconi Towers. Let's start by saying, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. As ever, we are going to be updating you live and direct from Tenconi Towers on the latest news and events from UKIP HQ. And when I say we, I mean, of course, me, because there's no Father Calvin on the screen. And the reason why there's no Father Calvin on the screen is because he is doing God's work. Thanks be to God. So you just get me this time. If you have questions, I'm sure that something will pop up in the little comment section. If I just click on that, that might help. And if there's anything there that's relevant or that isn't really offensive or personal, I will answer it. We have a lot of topics to cover off on today. I want to talk about oh, by the way, Father Calvin, we miss you. So yeah, he'll be back next week, but he's doing God's work in his ministry in the US, where he is based at the moment, as you all currently know. So we're going to talk about Sheffield, just gone. We're going to talk about Lincoln, just gone. We're going to talk about Bristol coming up on Saturday. We're going to talk a little bit about two-tier policing. We're going to talk about the Islamist plot by MPs in Birmingham. This week, we've all seen the chilling footage. The Islamic Caliphate, it's here to stay and it's here to play, and they don't play by the rules. We're going to talk a little bit about the disgrace that was Good Morning Britain by Adil Ray and Kate Garraway. We all saw that clip. We're going to talk a little bit about Remembrance Sunday as well. Let's see off the bat who's come in. Hi, Nick. Hope you're well. I am so well and so blessed. Nick, what do you think of Mike Graham's sacking? Guys, it's problematic. Everyone's a huge fan of Mike. I'm a huge fan of UKIP. I'm a huge fan of taking our country back. I'm a huge fan of detaining, deporting, remigrating Islamists, left-wing Nazis, aka communists. I don't like to get sucked in too much to some of these bits and pieces, etc. I think apparently Mike put some stuff on his social media. He said that he didn't do that, and I believe that's what he's saying. He's saying he didn't do that, but what he put up isn't something that I think necessarily was said in the right way. Maybe he got confused with the messaging. There's ways of doing things and there's ways of saying things. So I don't know exactly whether he's recanted. I don't know. In terms of censorship and cancel culture, we're right back at this free speech debate, guys. Either speech is free, and it's exactly what I've got written on my bio on my YouTube channel. Either speech is free or it is not free. But should there be consequences for freedom of speech? Of course there should be. If someone comes up to you and says something absolutely atrocious, and you have, let's say, a propensity towards anger, violence, rage, and you react, and then you end up in court. Well, this is absolutely awful for everyone involved, but there's consequences for freedom of speech. In this case, someone's offended you grossly, and then you've decided to, rather than self-defend, you've used your fists. So there's going to be consequences for freedom of speech. The question is, again, the free speech campaign it's not a hill I die on. It's either free or it's not, but there has to be consequences for freedom of speech. Do I think that left-wing Nazis, aka communists, should have the right to be at street level spouting their filth? Absolutely not. I'm saying we're going to deport them and remigrate them. Get on your free speech campaign hill for that. And a lot of people within the Truth or Freedom movement would say that's completely unacceptable. The communists, the left-wing Nazis, the fascists, they have absolutely right to express these opinions. I absolutely disagree. I want them gone. So freedom of speech, it's either free or it's not. What do I think of Mike sacking? Let's take the country back, guys. Let's see what else we've got here before we move on. Anything planned for Wolverhampton or Staffordshire? Yes. Perfect. Guys, I am inundated. The party is inundated. They've seen the work that we've done. It's truly blessed. DM after DM, email after email. Will you come to such and such, such and such, such? Yes. My question is, who's the community leader that's standing up? Now, you say community leader. What do you mean? I mean exactly that. Who's the prospective parliamentary candidate who is stepping? I've gone too fast. You're already set. Prospective parliamentary candidate. What do you mean? I mean the MP who's going to win in your seat where you want me to come and do the march and the procession. Who's stepping up? Who's the community leader? Who's going to be organizing the campaigning? Who's going to be organizing the march? Who's going to be organizing the demos? Who's going to be inspiring at street level, winning hearts and minds on the doorstep? Who is it? Labour, they've got an army of them. Tories, Blue, they've kind of got an army. Reform, apparently, have kind of got an army. Guys, get on the purple tidal wave. You want me to come to your town, parish, area, constituency? I'm loving that guy called Dave. What, Wolverhampton and Staffordshire? Guys, someone's got to step up, contact the party and say, we are going to organise and become community leaders. Small group of you, perhaps. That's typically how it works. And we are going to invite you to come. And then, guys, it would be an honour to serve in your constituency. I've got Bristol coming up. I've got Folkestone coming up. I've got Uxbridge coming up. And I've got Crowthorne coming up. Guys, get active. Get active. Someone's got to step up, male or female. Someone's got to step up and say, I'm going to be the community leader for this area. Let's go indeed. Love that. Let's see what else we've got here whilst this loads up. And let's decide some of my brothers and sisters on this call. Thank you so much, as always, for your support, guys. It means, let's see now, which country pay for you? Which country pay for you? That's horrific grammar. I don't understand what that means. So without further ado, let us start by talking a little bit about the topic of the week, guys, which is self-defense. Now, in my defense, I'm a huge fan of self-defense, especially when you're in court. We believe in self-defense. That's a Christian worldview. Of course, we believe in self-defense. Now, this week, from the weekend, so the last four days, give or take, I have been on the receiving end of the worst kind of abuse. Now, when I say the worst kind of abuse, I'm obviously talking about verbal. I'm not talking about physical abuse. I'm talking about verbal abuse. We had it when we were kids in the playground. The bully, we've all been there on the receiving end. The bully, maybe mummy and daddy didn't give him enough or her enough attention, and they had to lash out at the world. You know, it's learned behavior. They've learned it from somewhere. Look, listen, no judgment. We were all young once. I've been on the receiving end of what I would consider to be, in terms of bullying and verbal abuse, some of the worst, because what the left-wing Nazis, the left-wing fascists have done, that what they've decided to do this week, doesn't matter how many traps I set for them. I set a trap at the weekend on Saturday. I did another one on Sunday. It's to understand and gauge what these people are capable of. Now, the Islamists tend to sort of leave you alone, because we're going to go on to talk about this in one of the clips. The Islamists think they've won. The Islamic Caliphate will win. So they don't have to worry too much about moderating their behavior, or they have some frontline attack dogs. There are a couple of jokers, both male and female, on X that they wouldn't dare necessarily be on Insta or Facebook. And they're choreographed, designed to be their attack dogs, these Islamists. Very passive aggressive, very threatening, very rude. What I want to talk to you about, guys, in terms of self-defense, is the attacks that I've been on the receiving end of. In the religious worldview, it's called calumny. It is to defame a man's character. Now, you can say what you like about me. The defamation, the lies and the deceit that these people, left-wing Nazis, left-wing fascists, and there's some Islamism thrown in there as well, the communists, they are out and out lying about where I have been, where I haven't been, what I was doing there, who I was with, and it doesn't matter. Listen, we don't worry about what they say. But what I want to say to you guys is this: self-defense wise, this week, I owe it to you to share this. I've been tested. I'm not easily rattled, and there's also nothing wrong with being rattled as long as you stay in control as well. There's nothing wrong with admitting that either. I have had some vile, disgusting abuse thrown my way this week in a deliberate, targeted attempt to defame me by lying. these people are not telling the truth. They are lying. And also, the only people that know the truth in these situations are myself and the people I was with. So it doesn't matter to these people. They've seen an opportunity. Now, bear with me. They've seen an opportunity and they've gone, right, we've got him. It's their big gotcha moment. And they invent and they twist and they slither. And it doesn't matter if you, typically, I don't necessarily respond, hardly ever, in fact. Obviously, that's what they want me to do. But I have once or twice defended myself. And what they do is they double down. They are literally lying. They are smearing a man's name and they have absolutely no remorse in their hearts whatsoever. So I was thinking about the practical advice I could give you guys, voters, listeners, supporters, and yes, we are in the business of politics. Of course we are. But I love you all so much. And a lot of people say how when I was active with Turning Point at street level, I still have the pleasure of serving as their COO. When I was at street level, they would say, how do you manage dealing with the talking? Because I'm sure a lot of you have seen the videos. Talking to these, they're psychopaths. These left-wing militias, they're completely crazy. They are absolutely gone. They're checked out in reality. And I would always respond by saying, it's really no big deal. It's really no big deal. We are of the Christian worldview. We must pray for their soul. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, no, absolutely not. Well, when you believe in heaven and hell, eternity is kind of a long time. So bear with me, guys. So what I thought I would say before we move on, just again, going back to self-defense, is this. There are prayers that you can say, guys. So when I open up DMs and it's things like, I want to kill you, you need to die, I wish you'd kill yourself, wait until I get hold of you. Yeah, right. What are you going to do, bro? Like, no, seriously, try it, especially with someone who believes in self-defense. But what I do is I say, and the prayer goes, oh, my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell, lead all souls to heaven, especially those most in need of thy mercy. It's shorter than the Our Father and the Apostles' Creed. It's shorter than a lot of prayers. And I just want to say to those of you who are, Britain is at breaking point, and I just wanted to share that with you. So when people say, how do you manage, how do you do it, the lies that the far left militias, the far left Nazis, they spread, the Islamists, they're so cunning, they're so devious, they're so manipulative, they are so hateful. What do you do? Now look, not everyone is a man or a woman of faith, correct? Fine, but that's what I do. I say the Oh My Jesus prayer. I say that for them. And not only is that, I think, a good thing to do because they need saving, they need help, but I also think that it helps me. It helps me to control my breathing. It helps me to be a better soldier. It gives me more grace because the battle we are in is for the soul of this nation. The crusade we are on is a holy crusade. We're going to want God on our side. So the least I can do is remember the example he set and what happened on the cross. The least I can do is say, do you know what? That's upset me. That's rude. That's unfair. And I can pray for them. Can I not? So I hope that helps, guys. I really do hope that helps. So there's a little bit there from me. But let's talk more now about what have we got here. Yeah, we got some lefty nut jobs laughing, which is useful. Oh my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell, lead all souls to heaven, especially those most in need of thy mercy. Same in Blackpool. Again, community leaders, stand up, get registered with the party. We're taking our country back. It's time to jump on the team for the big win. We need more patriots at demos. I agree. I'm speaking to a guy. We're organizing something in a very, very important area at the moment, contextually. And he said the numbers are just, they were, at first there was so many numbers and it just dwindled off. Yeah, that's because none of this is behind a political party. Apart from what UKIP's doing, all the outrage at street level, none of it's behind a political party. How do you take your country back? You return a majority of candidates in a first past the post system. How do you do that? You have to stand and win in your area. It's all about the groundswell and it's all about the momentum behind a political party. We're taking our country back. No diplomacy, no surrender. It's time to jump on the team for the big win, guys. Pembrokeshire is institutionally corrupt to the core. I don't doubt it at all. We need our country back. We do indeed, sir. We do indeed. Right, we're going to go on to talk about Lincoln. Here's my speech, guys, if you just bear with me. Maybe it works. Here's my speech from Lincoln. Lincoln Patriots invited me to come and on, it was Friday night last week. typical November evening. The clocks have gone back. It is what it is. It's a bit dreary, and it's a November evening. And associates that I know who have organised and led, again, community leaders, they've organised and they've led, and they've said, do you want to come along? And I've said, I'd love to be there. I'm hundreds of miles away, but I'd love to be there. This was my speech once we'd gone through Lincoln High Street, guys. This is my speech.
Indeed, our outrage
you can hear this,
holds us back. It shackles us. It confuses us. It causes tremendous anxiety and depression. We need a single unit point of command on the right. Now, you'll all talk about Churchill. You'll talk about Thatcher. That was a different time. We have not had a single unit point of command on the right for so very long in Britain, let alone Christian nationalism. Let me ask you another question, patriots. Do you decree and declare that this is a Christian land? Yeah! I said, do you decree and declare this is a Christian land? Yeah! Do we have any idea what the Christian martyrs went through since the time of our Lord? Do we have any idea of our early church father teaching? Do we have any idea how they were gutted, skinned, burned alive because they refused to denounce their faith? People say to me, what about the secular, the agnostic, the atheist brigade? I don't care. This is England, a Christian land. Now, let me tell you something about these people over here. They want open borders. They delight in the blood of our youth being spilled. They are communists. They are professional liars and deceivers. They want open borders. They hate sovereignty. They hate themselves. We live for our sovereignty. By definition, we are enshrined to protect and defend what is ours, historically, culturally, biblically. These people, it doesn't matter how many are raped, it doesn't matter how many are killed, they do not care. These people, the communists and the Islamists, they will show us no mercy, no diplomacy, and no surrender. We, patriots, I say we have a right to defend ourselves. I say we have a right to get organised. I say we have a right to take our country back. I promise you, patriots, on everything that's holy, the fight we are in, this battle is for the soul of Britain. Our enemies want us dead. They want us gone. If we are ill-disciplined, if we are angry, if we are lazy, apathetic, if we do not turn back to discipline and to duty, I promise you, our enemies will outflank us. They will outsmart, outmaneuver, and they will outdo us. The Islamic Caliphate will win in Britain. I ask you, do you care what liberals think? Do you care what normies think? No. Our army is already built. We are already formed. We have just forgotten who we are and where we came from. In the last 5 years, the journey has pushed me into the farthest reaches of Britain. I love you all. We're taking our country back. And one final thing to these very clever, very deceitful people who call themselves Stand Up to Racism. They're very clever, these people. Liars and deceivers. They are the fascists. That's why they stand with Islamo-fascism. That's why they stand with Marxists. That's why they stand with communists. That's why they stand with the radical trans lobby who encourage children to mutilate themselves. That's why they're funded by the Socialist Worker Party. Patriots, law enforcement knows it. MI5 know it. The government know it. The police know it. Everyone knows about communism and Islamism in the United Kingdom. This time, our holy crusade, they will be met with holy fury and Christian courage.
There we go, guys. So apart from the buffering and the stuttering, you get the idea. Spine tingling stuff. Let's jump back into the comments section to that. And a massive thank you to Lincoln Patriots for organizing that. There are people that have already stepped up. There are people who have already stepped up to put their name forward to be a candidate for UKIP. That ukip.org, it's right there, guys. Did that motivate you? Did that inspire you? Go to ukip.org. You can't be a candidate unless you're a member. Sign up to be a member. What, £30 a year? What's that? 15p a day, 30 quid a year. Boom. Then a couple weeks time, you get confirmed as a member. We make sure that you're not nuts. Put your name down to be a candidate. It's as simple as that. We have a march in South Shields on the 22nd. Love you to join us. Guys, perfect. DM me. Get on that straight away. What else have we got here? Do we have any questions before we move on? So there's a lot to unpack in that video. I'm obviously very passionate about waking Gen Pop up to the fact that liberals, agnostics, atheists, normies, it's not slanderous. This crusade to take back our country needs to be explained. When we say take back our country, we're talking about our institutions. We're talking about our courts. We're talking about our government. We're talking about the NHS. We're talking about our schools. We're talking about our parishes, our churches. We're talking about the institutions that have had the long march through them. And for those of you that still don't know, the long march through the institutions is the communist plot to destabilize Western civilization. There, I said it in under, 8 seconds. The communist plot to destabilize and ultimately overthrow and replace Western civilization. And what do the communists want to overthrow it with? Marxism. And why do they want to overthrow it with Marxism? Because this psychopath, who was all sorts and he was interfered with, the guy was a complete mess. Obviously, it's no joke being interfered with, but he was. Go check him out. He decided that the best system was if we had everything equal. All of us, the problem with the argument about total equity is that in order to have total equity, you can only have a dictatorship in charge. You cannot have our system. And for those people that knock democracy, and yes, of course, democracy is being usurped and we've got tyrannical reign over us, and that's not just red, but blue also. That's very true. We still have an awful lot of freedoms comparatively. These communists, their ideology, what gets them out of bed in the morning is they want to overthrow everything. And who else wants to overthrow everything and replace it with a dictatorship? The Islamists. What type of dictatorship do they want? A theocratic Islamic state-based dictatorship. They don't want Western rules, Western laws, Western civilization, Western democracy. And what is it that the cultural Christianity argument loves to talk about, that we are a culturally Christian nation? When we talk about norms and values, respect, tolerance, law and order, the Magna Carta, when we talk so passionately about our beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful history, all of it came from Christianity. The one true faith, the one true religion. So both the communists and the Islamists want to overthrow and destroy Western civilization equals they want to overthrow and destroy Christianity, Holy Mother Church. But by all means, guys, let's turn our backs on God, because that's really worked out well for us, hasn't it? We've never been more unified. We've never been more together. We've never, again, going back to that video, unpacking it, there's no single unit point of command on the right. There is no single unit point of command on the Christian right until 15 months ago when I became leader of UKIP. There is, and there has been for 15 months. All you've got to do is sign up to the cause. That means becoming a member and giving the party your heart and soul, as I have done and am doing, and as is the great team, by the way, and saying, I've understood the mission. The mission is to win in my seat. Because if you win in your seat, when everyone cheers Rupert Lowe on, he's one man, he's an independent, he's one man, he can't influence anything. One man, how he's revered. And I agree. I love Rupert. By the way, I'm going somewhere with this. I love him. He's great. He's also 71 at the next general election, and he's one man. and he could very easily go to the Tories. He's definitely going to flirt with who's ever courting him at the moment. You have to return a majority of candidates. A party must return a majority of candidates. That's what I meant when I said in that video there is no single unit point of command on the Christian right. The clergy won't do it. Anglican Church, forget about it. It's over. And the Catholic clergy are not allowed to stand. They are not allowed. They literally aren't allowed to stand. The Anglican clergy, best of luck with that one. Got a great video for you guys on that in a bit. So, Lincoln Patriots, thank you so much for inviting me. It was brilliant to be there. Now, let's talk about Sheffield. Sheffield was an interesting one. I've been liaising with Sheffield Police. When I say me, the team. Fantastic team effort at UKIP. Thank you so much. You know who you are, guys. You're the best. We've been working really hard with Sheffield Police, like we do with all law enforcement. There's emails, there's paperwork. You've got to go back and forth. And you know what's going to happen? That 24 hours before the demo, they will phone you up and you'll have to deal with the police liaison officer, or up north, they call it police liaison team, not PLO, PLT. You know, 24 hours before the event, so that's basically 10 o'clock on Friday morning last week, it's going to kick off and they're going to say, you can do this, but you can't do that. You can meet here, but you can't meet there. So that's how it goes. Long story short, what we do is we say, well, what restrictions are you putting on the left? So I've heard what you've told me, Bronze, Gold Commander, Power Ranger, whoever you are, but what's the left being sanctioned on or by? Guys, check this. Our meeting point, our mustering point was Sheffield Cathedral, a Christian place of worship. Patriotic Christians wanted to meet at Sheffield Cathedral. We were told Friday last week we couldn't muster there. We weren't allowed to muster there. And we asked the question, well, where are the left mustering then? And we were told, and I've got it all, I recorded the call. That's not to be played now, but I'm not lying. The police told us that the left, our opponents, counter-protesters, they were not allowed to meet at Sheffield Cathedral. Now, I went nuts on this particular call. I took the reins off the team. I said, I'm going to speak to him, whoever the little Power Ranger guy was, and have a look at this video. Now, presuming that I can talk over the top of this, let's do that again. This is Sheffield Cathedral. This is from an Instagram account, which is just pro-lefty. And if that could just play again, please. A pro-lefty Instagram account. It's only 8 seconds long, guys. So if you took your eye off the screen, you won't have seen it. Please just play. So you guys can't see that. So I will continue to... Guys, get on the screen now. That's Sheffield Cathedral. No, I need that back. Let's go again. So you can imagine the frustration and the patience required. They're all outside Sheffield Cathedral, guys. Now, if you were there at Sheffield and you know the area and you decided to sort of check the muster point out, the original muster point, maybe you can jump into the comments. This is outrageous. The law enforcement lied to us. And on the call, I lost my temper with the PLT saying, look, you're lying to me. I know the left will be allowed to muster there. And of course, he got really defensive. No, I'm not doing that at all. I said, yeah, I know you're lying to me. Again, I've got the recording. They were allowed to muster at Sheffield Cathedral. We were moved a 6-minute walk away to somewhere called Tudor Square. Now, I asked you, Patriots, why is that? Why were we moved and they weren't? Why did Sheffield Police make that decision? Sheffield Police, law enforcement and the intelligence services made that decision because as far as they're concerned, mob rules. That's all that happened. That's that. Let's just call it what it is. That's all that happened. Sheffield Police said, UKIP, you've applied. It's your democratic right, human rights, etc., etc. You're now moving because this mob isn't something we can contain. We can't contain. So what does that tell you about numbers? Does everyone remember what happened at Whitechapel a few weeks ago? What do we learn, guys, about numbers at street level? It works. It's called mob rule. It works. Oh, and culture runs downstream from politics. It works. Operation Raise the Colours, inspired by an awful lot of activity that came out of Northern Ireland this summer. It works. It means something. Turning up and waving a flag means something. Waking up your brothers and sisters to the realities means something. Setting boundaries with those who refuse to assimilate to the mission means something. Now, the left, the communists, we track and trace their movements and we have intel on them. They're terrified that our street marches are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's not enough, guys. Everyone needs to be at street level, because what happens is law enforcement and the government look at it. They look at the match. They look at the game and they go, wow, this is getting really big. This is getting out of hand now. We probably want to start being nice to these people. Yeah, you probably want to. Like I said in one of the videos, which I'm going to show you, which I said to a line of police officers, I said, you will be on your hands and knees saying sorry when I get power. This is how it works. Yeah, we don't agree with mob rule, but there are no rules to this game. We've got to get to street level. It means the absolute world to changing things and to shaking things up and instilling a little bit of pro-patriotism, shall we say. Trust me, guys, it works. Have a little listen to my speech. If let's hold a good thought for the buffering, because no one needs that. That's this is my speech on arrival at Sheffield.
Casual observers, we are marching today for mass deportations, for remigration. We want the communists gone. We want the Islamists gone. We want the terrorists gone. We want the traitors in government gone. We want to restore order in Britain. We want to reinstate Christianity back into the heart of government. And we want to deliver justice for our girls and for the most marginalised and destroyed within society. The 40% who don't vote, the Brexit voters, the silent majority, we're taking it back and we're sending them home! Yeah! We're going to have a great day, guys. Massive thanks to Sheffield law enforcement, whoever pulls the strings, for making my life an absolute misery over the last few days. Thanks for putting the most strictest conditions on us. Thanks for moving us from the cathedral so that so-called disorder would be avoided. Not disorder from the patriotic Christian right, but from the violent communist Islamist left. Thank you so much for that. We approximately have apparently 6 minutes to be on our way, being minded and treated like children. We will let them have their moment. We will be immaculately behaved, on our best behaviour. We will have our march. We will send our message, and we will inspire the nation, regrouping in January next year on the UKIP-hosted mass deportations demo tour. And may I say now, patriots, I love you. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. Thank you so much. Now, patriots, we have a few announcements to make. Our sister Caroline has left us. For those of you who don't know, she was a devout activist and patriot, and she had one of those skills whereby she just added so much value and produced so much energy on demos. So join me as I say
Patriots, because apparently that's still playing. I wanted to say a prayer and have a minute's silence for our dear departed Caroline. She was a devout activist, and you meet when you're involved in activism at street level, guys.
We want the Islamists gone. We want the terrorists gone. We want the traitors in government gone. We want to restore order in Britain. Patriots, Sheffield, casual observers, we are marching today for mass deportation,
Now hopefully
for
you guys can hear me now.
remigration. We want the communists gone, we want the Islamists gone, we want the terrorists gone, we want the traitors in government
So as I was saying,
we want to restore
one
order
of
in
the most
Britain.
devout activists, I was just giving a minute's silence in that part of the speech there in Sheffield. One of our most devout activists, a lady named Caroline, has passed.
And for the most marginalised and destroyed within society. The 40% who don't vote, the Brexit voters, the silent majority, we're taking it back and we're sending them home! Yeah!
Just can't get enough of that clip. Well, I look forward to that. Unsolicited, just keep coming back in. Don't worry, guys, we'll get there. We'll get there. Cool. All right, let's hold a good thought. So, I meant every word of what I said in Sheffield. For those of you who haven't seen it, jump over to my X or Instagram or YouTube, whatever. It's not hard to find, and have a little listen to what I had to say. But more importantly, in moving on, Sheffield was interesting because we had an awful lot of experience of two-tier policing, guys, which brings me to my next clip now. At the end of our march, which, by the way, wasn't where we wanted it to be, we were essentially halted by a line of yellow vests, riot cops. We were halted by a line of riot cops. Sorry, what? Why have you got TSG or riot? Why have you got them out? And there were two great big buildings either side of us. And the Invader hotels were round the corner from where we are. And we don't know where, again, Sheffield police have mucked us around an awful lot. We don't know where we're going to be stopping. And we're kind of wondering why we're stopped there. And it meant that speeches couldn't happen. Like, there was nothing about that particular spot that worked for us. And we had, windows and apartments all around us, and the chance for throwing projectiles, even if it was just someone being silly, for example, and be like, oh, I know, I'm going to drop a water balloon or something like that. Nothing about it worked. Nothing about it was appropriate. Everyone was on edge. And I remember thinking, and the team and I discussed this, why are we stopped here? Why is there riot police there? Why is there a line? So imagine just the end of the gully, if you will, and then a line. And I was doing media interviews. And then what I was told was that another line had formed the other end, so 50 yards apart. So a line here and then 50 yards and another line. Let's see if you guys can see this clip. This is Sheffield police kettling in patriots for absolutely no reason other than far left Antifa had decided to break the Section 14. So for those of you that don't know, there was a Section 14 in place. You'll hear an awful lot about this phrase, Section 14. And there was that in place to stop the lefties basically on our march, where the bridge is, where the river is, whatever. They were all kept there, and you got the horses and the vans. Well, we got the footage later on, which I haven't actually got to hand now, but it's available online. The lefties have broken through the line, and it's the little Antifa, little trans goblins. And what they've done is they've decided to journey down to where we are, which isn't far. The police have obviously gone, oh, we've got a problem, radioed it through, even though they're just little punks. And then we get kettled in whilst the police start dealing with it. So this is the video when I found out that patriots on my march had been kettled in.
Safe to do so.
Our demo is complete, and I've done some interviews, and now they're saying... Now they're saying we can't let exit our own demo because Antifa apparently are blocking us. Let me through. Apparently Antifa are blocking us. So the police have formed a line. Here is the line, patriots.
the police line. We are being held now, kettled in from where we stopped. This has just been brought to my attention. I've been doing interviews. The police will now be doing their thing with far left extremists. You might be able to see the commotion down there. They brought the horses in, they brought the horses in. They'll be organising now to deal with the left-wing militia. But again, we find, why are far-left extremists, why are communists and absolutely furious? Why are they allowed to be at street level? Where's the batons? Where's the police brutality towards communists, left-wing militias? Where is the zero-tolerance policy, patriots? It is absolutely outrageous. Law enforcement and our intelligence services know that these people are violent in orientation. We know that these people, it is common knowledge that they form militias and they try to rush patriots. The patriots are always held back. The police know that these people over here causing the problems, they know they are no match for us, but we're the ones that have to wait. Lock them up, detain them, lock them up, get rid of them. Yeah, they'll be in breach of all the Section 14s, all the Section 14s, all the Section 12s, they'll be in breach of that. Yeah, right, like they're going to lock them all up, etc. And that's why we call two-tier policing out. It's disgusting.
Right, I think the word, guys, is bosh. You all heard it live and direct 2 weeks ago when Father Calvin and I were debriefing. One of Stand Up to Racism's biggest names, someone called Narinder Kaur, who's a complete no one, by the way, politically. She is part of Stand Up to Racism, but she has a very big mouth on X. She's one of those attention seeker, narcissistic personality disorder types, and she just wants to be involved like a child. She was at Knightsbridge 2 weeks ago when we were marching from the oratory on Knightsbridge to Marble Arch or Speaker's Corner. She was there. She was there. And she, of course, we knew what her ploy would be. I'm not here to stand up to racism. You can't arrest me. I've demanded for her to be arrested. She's a stand up to racism activist, demonstrably, and she broke the Section 14. She hasn't been arrested. I've demanded, and the Met Police have told me where to go. By silence, by the way, to not even a response. Now imagine if I went to Whitechapel. That's fair, isn't it? How many followers has Narinder got on X? A few 100,000? I haven't checked. What if I went to Whitechapel? I'd be arrested, right? Do you see, guys? If we want our country back, we're going to have to get off our backsides and we're going to have to be dominant at street level. That includes campaigning politically for UKIP. That includes supporting your prospective parliamentary candidate, what I call a community leader. Okay, we're gonna have to get very used to these terms very quickly. Delivering leaflets, making sure that events and demos happen, but not individually on your own. Shooting in the darkness, but under and with a political party. We're gonna have to get there a lot faster, guys, because this frustration, it's not gonna change. So look, you've just seen there the frustration in the video, whereby the little Antifa rats, what they've done is they've run down and the police have decided to, they link arms and they use their brute force. And have you seen how Riot are dressing nowadays with the shoulder pads and the elbow pads? You know, when you were 11 years old, you got given a skateboard and mum and dad gave you knee pads and elbow pads. Literally adorable. So they run in and do all that. Have I heard about any arrests? They've broken the Section 14. We know they broke the police line and they've come down to where we were. You've just seen the kettle line there. Have I heard about any arrests? About a phone call from Sheffield Police. Mr. Tenconi, hi, just to let you know, these little rats did break the line. We've made X number of arrests. I go, do you know what, Chief Constable Inspector? I appreciate that. I won't accuse you of two-tier policing for now. Instead, I've had to write a very long letter of complaint to Sheffield Police saying, why were we held back? Why were we kettled in? And then, of course, once we were released, and rightly so, patriots, this is hugely problematic. I wasn't going to mention it because obviously, you know, it's good to back up and provide sources. But whilst people were kettled in, guys, you weren't allowed to go to the toilet. If you needed food, if you're diabetic, you know, all these, you know, really serious things that people have to live with daily, you weren't allowed out. So again, why we weren't allowed to finish where we wanted to finish. Where they stopped us was completely inappropriate, and then we were kettled. And I haven't even mentioned for how long. It was like 60 minutes more. Now, when they released us, I don't know what the front line of Patriots did or didn't do, but they released us, and then this happened. It's kind of like, well, what do you expect, guys? You've upset a lot of people, guys. What this? Have a look at this, guys. They released us. This happened.
It's who fucking ran off there, not man.
Now, the reason why I've stopped the video there is you can see that there's a gentleman with blue jeans and a sort of big blue, dark, whatever, puffer jacket, and he's on the ground. And you've seen my main cameraman, you've seen him run up, so you've seen that bit, guys. So I want you to zone in now for the rest of the video. You can't see it here, it's in another video, but I'm not releasing that for various reasons. This little Antifa punk with a little speaker system has smashed this guy in the face. We've got the footage. Look at how the police treat him. Let's go back to the video. The guy with the big jacket on who's...
It's who fucking ran off there, not man.
So you're looking for the guy with the big jacket on. There he is, right in the middle. He's been smashed in the face. The Power Rangers aren't happy.
Just to put on fucking media. Just to put it on media.
Still on the ground detained. Okay, guys. So, I'm not going to play the clip again. You get the idea. We're kettled. Everyone, they wind you up. They deliberately kettle you so that they can squash the other side. And as I said in the video before that, just let Antifa come. Like, what's the problem? The patriotic side believes in self-defense. We just want to have our march. We want to wave our flags. We want to inspire the nation. And then we want to go home. The communists don't want that. They call it hate speech. Why would the communists care about us coming through and saying no to illegal invasion, no to the Islamic Caliphate, no to importing problems like murder and rape and psychopathy and third world medieval practices? I don't know. Why would you ever oppose that message? And not only do they oppose it, but they call it hate speech. And then that gives them their platform to come out, to try and shut us down and stop us, which they never do, derail us, which they never do, control us, which they never do. Again, it's just their little campaign. It's just their little hobby. And then when it comes to the crunch, they'll send a little team of your little Antifa trans goblins and, you know, those on prescription medication for the rest of their life because they're nuts. And we have to be kettled. We have to wait. And then when we release, the police decide they have got no issue with getting incredibly violent and aggressive with patriots. But God forbid you ever did that with the Socialist Worker Party, little goblins, and with the communists. God forbid you ever did that. It's all reason and please and thank you and sorry. Get your batons out. And I think before we move on to quite a funny little clip that I want to show you guys, that's basically what I'm saying is under my government, these communists, they're gone. They're detained and they're gone. We don't want them here. They are left-wing Nazis. You've been lied to. And history got cancelled and we were taught a certain way. The communists, they are the disease. Communism is the disease. These people absolutely despise everything we stand for, from patriotism to Christianity to our faith, to the nuclear family, to the patriarch, to capitalism. They despise everything about us culturally, biblically, and economically also. So that's why I said, why are they allowed to be at street level? Now imagine restrictions are getting put on the patriotic side. You know, just in summation, guys, imagine the patriotic side is getting told what they can and can't do, whilst the communists mob rule. And these people are the most evil, toxic people on earth, along with the Islamists in the Unholy Alliance. There is no quick fix to Britain's problems, but I'm not wrong with the math. Mass deportations is the solution. Remigration is the solution. But the communists, the left-wing Nazis, start calling them what they are, guys. Set boundaries with those people. I'm going to come on to talk about this in a minute in more detail. They got to go. Now, let's have a little look at this. 3 guesses which denomination this guy works for.
Show me what community looks like!
This is what community looks like!
Show me what community looks like!
This is what community looks like!
Show me what community...
Let's go again.
Show me what community looks like!
This is what community looks like!
Show me what community looks like!
This is what community looks like!
Show me what community...
Okay, cool. So you've got a guy there who's dressed up like I don't know who the guy is. He's dressed up like a vicar. I'm presuming he's Anglican. You can tell. I don't know what the gay pose and the gay wave is, but yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, he's standing with communists. He's standing with communists. He's a man of the cloth, and he's standing with communists. What our message is: close the borders, end mass uncontrolled immigration, start putting our own people first, begin mass deportations of those people that pose a serious threat, risk to our lives, our way of life. And as I quite clearly explained and often do, the destruction of Western civilization, which is the predicate, which is obviously where Christianity comes into play here. Our faith gave us what we revere and cherish so very greatly. And you've got a man of the cloth standing with communists so that he can appear virtually superior, morally superior, and to virtue signal. And we have this constantly within the Anglican Church. I'm not saying it doesn't affect other churches and other parishes, but I don't know. I've not seen much of it in Orthodox churches, and I've not seen much of it in Catholic churches. I know it exists, guys. I know it exists, but I don't know. What was that wave all about? And that look, it's so gay. Like what does that mean? What does that mean? Or is it just really camp? It really does grind my gears. Now, moving on. We're going to close up by talking about a few other bits and pieces that have happened in the UK at the moment. In recent days, we've all seen the clip of the 100-year-old veteran on Good Morning Britain, where Kate Garraway and Adil Ray wheeled this individual, God bless his heart, they wheeled him out so that they could get some scripted soundbite, which basically plays into their agenda, as you all know, is Remembrance Sunday just gone. And I think this clip came out on Wednesday or Thursday of last week. And I just wanted to say to Adil, who I don't really know who that guy is, but I've checked him out and he's got quite a big profile, and Kate Garraway, but mainly to Kate. Have you guys all seen the clip where the guy is clearly breaking down? He's clearly very, like, you would be, wouldn't you? You've gone through unspeakable horror. You've lost so much, and you've lived to this point. So like 4th stage industrial rev, 3rd wave or whatever it is, feminism, modern, postmodern, post-modernity. You know, where are we at now? Social media, the digital age, etc. And you're looking at it going, that wasn't worth it. I mean, that's gut-wrenching, right? Did we all see Kate pander to him and the way that she spoke down to him? Like, that was evil. I don't like that. That wasn't maternal. That wasn't nurturing. I don't know how she's got the job she's got or why she's in the public view. I don't know whether she's liked or not. I mean, I presume that all of the mainstream media lot sat on a couch are lefty in orientation. I mean, I don't know her. But it was just disgusting to see that. The guy's clearly breaking down. He's saying something you don't want to hear, and you're there sort of placating and pandering to him. Now, Adil Ray. Last week, at some point, the news has broken about the new Muslim mayor of New York. A lot of people are calling him an Islamist. The guy, Mamdani, his name is Mamdani, right? This guy is an out-and-out communist. The new mayor of New York, he's an out-and-out commie. Where to begin? So the guy's a left-wing Nazi, out and out. This Adil Ray character that I'm learning more and more about, I wasn't at all happy on Good Morning Britain. I've criticised Kate's behaviour, but Adil said when the veteran said what he said about it's not the Britain I want or the Britain that I recognise, it wasn't worth it. Basically, he's heartbroken and disappointed. And the Adil Ray character has gone, what do you mean by that? We know what he meant. He meant his country's been absolutely destroyed and taken over by both Islamism and by far left extremists who have subversive intent on our Christian brothers and sisters, the very thing that they fought for. Honestly, fist slamming moment on the desk, disgusting. So I took a look at some of Adil Ray's tweets and just what he's up to. And he's tweeted in support, as Mamdani in New York has been elected, he's tweeted in support of Sharia law. He's as a bare minimum, he's hinted at it. As a bare minimum, he's hinted at it. But the reality is that if you read it, it's not hard to find. In supporting tweet for Mamdani, you are siding with a far left Nazi. Are you out of your mind? You've sided with a communist. Are you insane? That's guilt by association. When it's an extremist, of course it is. And of course, in this particular tweet, he's gone on to talk about the benefits of Sharia law, basically supporting Sharia law. And then he's talking down to the veteran on the couch who can't defend himself. The guy's breaking down. And I just want to flip my desk. I can't stand it, what's happening. And we've got to fight back. There is only one thing left in the fight back, and that's to get political and to outmaneuver and to outflank these people, the Islamists and the communists, politically. That's all that's left. Speaking of radical Islam and Islamism, let's take a look at this clip from an MP in Birmingham.
These activities, this unity must grow and continue and take over not just parts of Birmingham, but the whole of Birmingham, the whole of the West Midlands, the whole of the UK. Grassroots democracy in action. And we, our communities, have shown the establishment and the rest of the country that we will not be taken for granted, and we will win. The establishment know that if you let one person stand up to them and speak the truth to people about what power is doing to them, then more people will stand up, and there will come a point when we all stand up against oppression, against injustice, and against corruption in politics. You see the power of solidarity. You see the power of solidarity, the power of all of us together. Individually, we may feel helpless, lonely, often frightened. Together, nothing can stop us. No tyrant can rule us. No party, government, or dictator can demand from us subservience. Together, we are powerful. Remember that and take that message onto the streets of Birmingham and share it with every single person you know in this country and abroad.
Bear with me. Deuteronomy 17. Deuteronomy 17. Verse 15. You may indeed set as king over you him whom the Lord your God will choose. One from among your brethren you shall set as king over you. You may not put a foreigner over you who is not your brother. That Birmingham MP, you're going home, mate. You're going home. You and your kin, you are going home. The Islamic Caliphate, the religio and politico spread of Islam by any and all means necessary, I might add, for a 10-second soundbite caption when you are confronted. What do you mean by Islamism? What do you mean by radical Islam? What do you mean by the Islamic Caliphate? They're very clever, these people. They're very clever, these people. Oh, that has nothing to do with Muslims and Islam. What's that? Play that clip. What do you mean, what's that clip? Yeah, good. We should have more Muslims in charge, is what they'll say. They'll say we should have more Islamic State. These people here, who were born here, who have never experienced Islamic State, would run 100 miles from Islamic State. But for some reason, mainly due to social media and race baiters, the weaponization process means that guys like this clown can say things like that, which is basically, we're going to take over. Did you hear what he said? Challenging democracy, saying he didn't want to be ruled by dictators and tyrants. Sorry, what? To put Christian nationalism in there? No, it's Islamic State. What's he talking about? Overthrow what? What do you mean overthrow what? You are talking about inserting Islamic State into Britain. That's what the guy's talking about right there. Now, these videos, these clips, this has been going on for decades. And the Patriots, again, like I said at Lincoln, you've all seen the clip, guys. The army is already formed. We've got everything we need. What we've been missing in terms of solutions is a single unit point of command on the right, where everyone, young, old, male, female, Christian, right wing, or what we call common sense, the preservation of our country, the way things used to be, traditional in orientation, certainly. You know, these people that oppose Marxist transing your kids. You know, these people that oppose and understand communism. You know, these people that oppose the radical feminists and their links to extreme misogyny. You know these types of views, which would, a lot of these demographics I've just mentioned would find it very difficult to argue against. Let's not be under any illusion. We are traditionalists in orientation. These people, these common sense views, the Christian conservative, socially conservative, small c conservative, patriotic right, have had no single unit point of command on the political right. Yes, now you do, and you have done for 15 months. Now, I want to just draw your attention to something, guys. As we close, when we talk about the Islamists and the communists and the unholy alliance, I promise you now, patriots, right now, one of you either knows someone, has someone living near to you, or has someone in your family or your spouse's family who identifies as socialist, who identifies as communist, who identifies as Marxist. We talk about the 1.2 million invaders on our land. We talk about the suspected 400,000 jihadis, the 40,000 Islamists on MI5's terror watch list. Guys, the number's racking up. We're saying we're going to deport between 5 and 10 million people. We don't know how many. The numbers are racking up. Let me leave this with you. How many communists are there in Britain? How many communists are there in Britain? 1 mil? 2 mil? 3 mil? For a lot of these people, they're public sector workers. I'm not saying that all public sector workers are communists, but that was how they did it. It's how liberal governments have done it. Some of it, as always, is incompetence. Some of it is by mistake. Some of it is ordained. It's a mixture. It's not all a conspiracy theory. Sometimes it's just inept. It's just stupidity. That's the way that it is. A lot of these communists, they work for trade unions. They work in the public sector. You and I know these people. They don't have the same values as us, guys. They despise everything. They're the ones at street level, patriots. You know the videos I've shown you tonight where you're actually sickened by some of the behavior and you don't understand it, and the two-tier policing and the two-tier justice, etc. Now, if we go to mainstream media tonight, guarantee they can't wait to chuck in the words far right, neo-Nazi. Communists are left-wing Nazis. Call them that. It drives them insane. They have gone unopposed, our enemies, the Unholy Alliance, they have gone unopposed for so very long because the backbone of this country has been liberal in orientation. It has not been Christian. It has not been patriotic. It has not been socially conservative or right wing. Or if it has been, it's been behind closed doors. These commies are absolutely everywhere, and they have subversive intent on a Christian land, and on our Christian brothers and sisters. We got to take our country back from the Islamists, from the communists, but let's start calling them what they are. On the Islamist side, they are Islamo-fascists. And on the communist side, they are left-wing Nazis. They've got to go. The time to get political was a long time ago, patriots. I'll refer you back to that veteran that we were all horrified to see treated like that on Good Morning Britain. Our work, our pain, our suffering will be a sacrifice in honor of our glorious dead when we take our country back from the communists and from the Islamists. Set boundaries with those people in your family, at street level, at your workplace who don't assimilate. You don't have to do anything different. Just set boundaries with these people. Get at street level, get flag waving. On Saturday, I'm going to be in Bristol. Check out my social media over the next 24 hours for the graphic. Saturday, Bristol. Check social media for the graphic. And then next week, we will go again, guys, hopefully with Father Calvin back in the room. And I believe next Saturday is Folkestone over in Kent. Guys, I love you all. Let's end on a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Patriots, keep the faith. We are going to win. We go again next week, hopefully with Father Calvin back in the room. And a massive thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Keep your DMs and emails coming to us. God bless all of you. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.